Your psychology is literally wired in such a way where unless you are choosing to positively impact humanity, then you're guaranteed to live a miserable life. Your actual emotional system is wired in such a way where unless you are choosing to positively contribute to humanity, to make a lasting, meaningful change in the world, unless that's what you're doing, then you're basically guaranteed to feel miserable. Regardless of how much money you have, regardless of how much curry chicken you get to eat, regardless of if you get to eat the tastiest, most expensive food or have as much sex with models and you get to travel the world and fly on private jets and go to private islands and stuff like that, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You will feel miserable unless you actually genuinely feel like you are having a positive impact on the world. And that's why in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to transform yourself into a person who can create a change in the world. How to hone yourself as an instrument of change. Now, this is so important. This is really a big picture, overarching game plan for structuring your entire life so that you can achieve the highest levels of happiness and satisfaction. Now, this next point I'm about to make is a little bit woo-woo, and it requires an open mind for you to recognize, but I'm just going to dive right in it because I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm here to tell you what the case is here on Earth. The purpose of the entire universe as a whole is to evolve itself into higher levels of love and consciousness. The reason why an atom evolves itself into a molecule, which evolves itself into an organ tissue, which evolves itself into an entire human being. The reason why this happens is because the purpose of the universe is to evolve into higher levels of love, higher levels of complexity, higher levels of wisdom and understanding, and also higher levels of consciousness and self-awareness, and higher levels of beauty. And you are actually wired as an organism. You are wired in such a way where if you are not contributing to the upliftment, the uplifting of humanity, then you will feel miserable because your emotions are a guidance system for you so that God or the entire universe can basically show you what it wants you to do. So when you do the things that contribute to the positive evolution of the entire universe, then you are going to feel good. You're going to feel abundant. You're going to feel joy and bliss. You're going to feel happy and excited and full of love and energy. And that's exactly what you want. That's the point of being here on Earth, is to feel amazing emotions that fill you with inspiration and joy. Now, if you don't do this, if you don't contribute to the evolution of all of society, and if you don't contribute to helping make a change in the world, and instead you sell your soul, you are lazy, you decide to work a 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life, where you're basically just pushing buttons, or you're doing marketing campaigns for McDonald's, or you're working with some soulless company who doesn't care about making a positive change in the world, but all this company wants to do is just make money for itself and exploit humanity and leech off of humanity. If that's what you want to do for the rest of your life, if you want to leech off of humanity, then you are guaranteed to feel miserable. And the reason why is because you are structured so that if you're not contributing to love, then you will feel bad, because that is the universe trying to tell you to stop doing this thing and instead do the thing that you're passionate about. Do the thing that inspires you. Do the thing that you're excited about doing. Because that thing is the thing that is going to help humanity the most. Now, that's the big picture view. Now let's get into the actual action plan for how to structure your life, the long-term plan to how to orient yourself towards living a life that has a meaningful impact on the world. How do you actually do this in practice? Now, the main obstacle that is preventing you from doing this is that you are not a developed enough human being. Your mind is full of all sorts of negative, false, delusional worldviews. You have all sorts of addictions, all sorts of bad habits, all sorts of ignorance. You don't actually understand how the world works in the necessary areas that you need to understand. So basically, you are not a personally developed enough human being, and that is okay. That's actually by design. The point of being born into a life is so that you can basically be set up with all sorts of terrible habits. A lot of people are born into terrible families. They're dealt a very bad hand of cards. But the reason why it's like that is because those challenges make you stronger. Those challenges mold and shape you into a leader, into a conscious, loving human being. You can't be a conscious and loving human being if you're just spoon-fed everything for your entire life and you never come across any challenges or tribulations. You will not be an amazing human being if you're just spoon-fed everything. So your current situation in life, you have unconsciously chose your current situation in life so that you can overcome these challenges and so that you can intentionally transform yourself into an amazing human being. Someone who positively impacts the world, like Gandhi or like Jesus Christ. These people have overcome massive amounts of obstacles, massive challenges, and that's why they're so inspiring. That's why when we read about Gandhi, we actually feel inspiration. Or when we watch a movie like The Lord of the Rings, or we watch a movie like Harry Potter, we see all of the challenges that Harry Potter has to overcome. At the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the series, in the first movie, he's not strong enough to defeat the Dark Lord. But as he goes through all of these challenges, as he goes through his hero's journey, he builds himself into someone who is brave enough and strong enough to defeat darkness, which ultimately represents to defeat your own fears so that you can be an instrument of consciousness, so that you can share your gift with the world without holding back, without being scared. So right now, you are in a situation in your life where you're not smart enough. Basically, you don't have enough skills. You don't have enough know-how enough wisdom. So the first step in transforming yourself into becoming an instrument of change is to undertake massive self-education. You need to undertake massive amounts of reading hundreds of books, doing courses, dishing out the money, dishing out $1,000, $2,000 on taking a course that is going to teach you about some aspect of life that you need to master. And you need to really see yourself as a researcher. You need to see yourself as someone who is constantly taking steps every single day towards learning. So me personally, I spend about 3 hours, well, optimally 3 hours, sometimes 2 hours every single day reading books. And I'm not just reading any books. I'm not reading novels. I'm not reading Game of Thrones or romantic comedies or I'm not reading porn books. I'm reading some of the highest quality information that is available to humans. I'm reading books from the leading experts of marketing, of business development, of relationships, the leading experts of spirituality, the masters, the enlightened yogis. I'm reading what they're saying. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, number one, it's fun, and I like having a good understanding of life on the big picture level. I like learning about existence. It's fun. But also the reason why I'm doing that is because I have the foresight to realize that just by reading a book a week, in 5 years, this 52 weeks, 5 years, that's like 400 books. Is it? Let's actually do the math. That's like 250 books. So in 5 years, if I read 250 of the highest quality books that exist, then I am guaranteed to be super successful in whatever field that I want to impact, in whatever area that I want to help uplift humanity in. This is actually a guarantee, and people take for granted how powerful reading 10 or 20 books actually is. So just to give you an example in my personal life, when I was about 15 or 16 years old, I was very awkward with talking to girls. And I had a very difficult time communicating with girls and attracting them. This is a very common problem for teenage boys because I had spent 3 or 4 years watching porn, and then all of a sudden there's pretty girls at my school and I don't know how to attract them. So what I did was I did something that not many people do. I actually started researching how to attract women. I was looking at dating coaches online. I even purchased their books. I actually dished out $20. I purchased their books. I read their books. I read 3 or 4 books about dating, about masculinity. One amazing book I recommend to everyone is The Way of the Superior Man, phenomenal. Models by Mark Manson, life-changing. And also How to Become a 3% Man by Coach Corey Wayne. The best dating book. So if you have that problem, there, I just blessed your entire life. I actually read these books, and within 3 months, I'm not telling you, I actually landed a beautiful girlfriend, and we dated for a year or two, and we had a great time. And that is an example of me solving a problem in my life just by researching. If I hadn't read those books, then I wouldn't have had those results. It's very simple. A lot of people don't take what I'm saying seriously here. If you are not currently reading a book, and if you don't have another 5 books lined up that you're ready to read, then you're seriously pissing away your life. You are completely lost. You have absolutely no clue what you're doing. If you're not currently in the middle of reading a book, and if you don't plan on finishing that book within the next week, and then have 5 more books that you're ready to read, then you are seriously lost. You are not taking this seriously. You're not taking your life seriously. You don't have the vision to see that if you want to make an impact on the world, if you want to live a meaningful life, if you want to have good things, then you have to be self-educated and you have to take your education into your own hands. And I'm going to be making a lot more videos about self-education in the future because this is an extremely important topic. Much more videos about self-education coming up on my channel, but that's why I'm going to be moving into the next point for how to have a meaningful impact on the world is to do consciousness work. Practice meditation. You have to start embodying higher states of consciousness. This is the only way that you're going to change yourself, because if you want to change the world, what we're doing basically is you're changing ourselves. You can't change the world unless you change yourself at the core, fundamentally. I'm not talking about changing a little aspect of yourself. I'm not talking about getting rid of a couple bad habits or maybe learning a skill here or there. I'm talking about actually going into the very root of who you are as a being and changing it. Changing who you are. And this is something that's very scary because your mind is wired to keep you in your rut, to keep you exactly the same, because that helps you survive. That helps you survive in the world. That's why whenever we have to make a big change in our lives, we get scared. Because your mind is just trying to help you out. It's just trying to keep you safe. But if you listen to this lower self, this lizard brain, as Seth Godin calls it, this is your lower self that is scared of making a change, a positive change. If you stay stuck in this fear, then you will not have any type of impact on your life and on the life of others and also on the world as a whole. So the best way to overcome this lower self, this lizard brain, this fear, is to start doing some serious consciousness work. That means practicing meditation daily. Not for 5 minutes. I hear people talk about they're trying to start a meditation practice and they're like, oh yeah, sometimes I meditate for 5 minutes. No. I'm not talking about 5 minutes. That's bullshit. You might as well not even meditate if you're going to meditate for 5 minutes because you're not serious about what you're doing. I'm talking about practicing meditation beginning at 20 minutes every single day. No less, every single day, 20 minutes. With the foresight of seeing, okay, now I'm going to increase to 30 minutes. In 2 months, I'm going to increase to 40 minutes. Then eventually I'm going to increase to 50 minutes. And then I'm going to dish out $1,000 and I'm going to spend 10 days. I'm going to take that time off work and I'm going to go on a meditation retreat. And they're going to teach me how to meditate. And I'm going to spend 12 hours every single day meditating. And I'm going to read 10 books about spirituality. Not just Buddhist books, but I'm going to read New Age books. But not just New Age books. I'm also going to read books from enlightened masters. And I'm going to read Hindu books. I'm going to read books about chakras. I'm going to read books about contemplation, about enlightenment. And this is a long-term plan. So I'm not talking about, oh, I'm doing spirituality as in, oh, I meditate for 10 minutes here or there. I do yoga every day. And then I watch one or two videos from Infinite Waters, which by the way, I love him. God bless Infinite Waters, but that's not like an actual like real spiritual program. That's just pretending like you're being spiritual, but you're not actually like ripping fat meditations and going on difficult, grueling retreats and reading like life-changing, paradigm-shattering books about spirituality. That is what is required to raise your consciousness in a meaningful way, to actually get the results from spirituality that I've talked at length on this channel. Check out my video, How to Meditate Consistently Every Single Day. I have tons of videos about meditation. I'm very serious about this. This consciousness work, what it's going to be doing is it's going to be increasing your internal abundance. So if you want to make a positive change in the world, you need to be giving the world something valuable, something positive. And the way that you develop that, the way you're able to do that is by cultivating your internal positive emotions, like cultivating a good life from the inside out. So I'm actually literally taking the time to make myself feel good. I'm actually allowing myself to experience an abundance of positive emotions. Because at the end of the day, that's what the world wants. The world wants to feel more positive emotions, if you want to break it down like that. So, but you need to cultivate that skill within yourself. And as you raise your consciousness, you're going to be tapping in to higher levels of consciousness, which is where creativity comes from. You're going to be downloading creative insights. You're going to start seeing new opportunities, new ways to live your life. So if you're reading hundreds of books, this is a 5-year process. You don't have to do this tomorrow. This is a 5, 10-year, 20-year process. If you're reading hundreds of books, if you're practicing meditation every single day seriously and you're going on retreats, then you are going to actually transform as a human being. You're going to become more wise. You're going to become more loving. You're going to increase your internal value. And then that is going to start bleeding out into your life. You're going to start being more creative. You're going to be less scared to share yourself with the world. And that is exactly what the world needs. And that's exactly what you need to do if you want to make a meaningful impact on the world. Okay. The next point for how to make a meaningful impact on the world: have a vision. Have an inspiring vision for what I want to create in my life. What type of impact do I want to have in the world? Why do I want to have that impact? I want to help people raise their consciousness. Why? Because that is the essential thing that is necessary for anyone to start improving their own lives. If you want to start improving your own life, you need to be raising your consciousness intentionally. And that also is going to make meaningful impacts on all of society, on all of politics, government, ecology. If everyone starts raising their consciousness, then we're going to live in a healthier, happier society. That's why I want to make a meaningful impact on the world. So have a vision. Have a vision that inspires and motivates you. And I'll have more videos about that, how to do that exactly in the future. Check out my video, How to Discover Your Life Purpose. Many great journaling exercises in there where you can start cultivating an inspiring vision for yourself. That's key. If If you have a target, then if you reconnect yourself with that target every single day and you remind yourself why you're alive, the point of your life, then the law of attraction is going to help you reach that destination. Okay. Now, the next way to have a meaningful impact on the world is to create something beautiful. Start honing your skills. Start mastering something. Master an art form. What do you like to do? What's your skill? What do you think is beautiful? What kind of art do you like? And start trying to create that type of art. So if you really like rock and roll music, start playing the guitar. What is meaningful for you to create? So once you know what your vision is, so for example, for me it's important to share important and meaningful insights with the world. I want to help people understand reality at the big picture level, and I want it to help them in their own personal lives. So, okay, how do I do that? Well, I could maybe start a podcast. Well, then I would have to train my speaking skills. Maybe I can start a YouTube channel, but then I'm going to have to work on my video editing skills. I'm going to have to work on my filming skills. These skills, I have to develop them. I'm not that good at it yet, but in the future, I'm going to keep getting better because I'm going to keep making small investments every single day. I'm going to keep practicing. So maybe I'm not that good at painting right now, but if painting is really what's meaningful to me, if that's what I want to share with the world, if that's how I want to share my soul with the world, painting, if that's what I want to do, then I'm going to practice it every day. I'm going to be serious about it. I'm going to practice for an hour a day. I'm going to go take a course for how to paint better. I'm going to go take classes. I'm going to read a book about it. I'm going to study famous painters like Da Vinci and Michelangelo and Van Gogh. I'm going to study their work. I'm going to maybe find a mentor. Maybe I'll move to Italy and enroll in a painting guild and paint for 6 hours a day. So I'm talking about maybe you're not that good at creating something meaningful yet, but the point of life is that you train yourself, you slowly get better by undertaking the mastery process and having a long-term vision. So when you first start making YouTube videos, if you go back and look at my first YouTube videos, they're crap. I don't know what to do with the camera. I don't know how to speak. My speaking is all rambly. And that, it's embarrassing to actually go back and look, but that's how you have to start. Your videos are crap when you start. Your art form is crap when you start, but then you keep practicing, you practice, and then eventually you're going to get really good. And then when you're really good, that's when you're going to start making an impact on the world. A good analogy is like priming a pump. Your skill is like a pump. So you know those old-fashioned pumps where you pump them and you have to keep pumping them. They won't give you water every single time you pump. When you start pumping and you pump and pump and pump, there's no water that comes out. You have to pump until the pump is primed. And then once the pump is primed, then every single time you pump, water comes out. And it's exactly like that with your art, with your creativity. You have to practice and practice and practice, and you're not getting any results, and you're making mistakes, and you're failing, and no one is recognizing you, and you keep failing over and over again. But then if you keep pumping, then the pump is primed. Then every time you pump, every time you put art out, then you're going to start getting water. Then you're going to start getting return on your investment. You're going to start actually making beautiful art that actually impacts people. Now, also recognize that if you want to become rich, if you want to make money, this is the only way to do it. You have to make a meaningful impact on the world, because the world is changing in such a way where all of the companies who are focused on leeching off of society and scamming people, all of these companies are going to go out of business. That's just the way the universe works, as I spoke about at the beginning of the video. All of the companies that actually genuinely care about uplifting humanity and helping people and setting people up to live a great life for themselves, all of the companies who are focused on beauty and excellence instead of scamming people, those are the companies that are going to be successful and are going to become rich. If you look at video games, for example, a big trend in the video game industry is big corporations, big AAA video game companies. What they do is they've started putting microtransactions in their games, and they've started making games just for the sake of making money. And they've sold their soul, and they try and nickel and dime you every single time you want to buy a skin. It's like $5. And they're just trying to squeeze out as much money from someone as possible. All of these games are slowly going to go out of business because the community will eventually stop buying them. Because the video game community doesn't like being scammed. They don't like being nickeled and dimed. They want games with soul. They want games that are, the purpose of the game is to deliver you an amazing experience. And you can't deliver an amazing experience to someone if you're trying to suck out as much money from them as possible. So new games that are coming out, indie games, games that are made not for the purpose of making money, but for the purpose of creating a beautiful game, those games are the ones that are becoming more successful and are receiving more critical acclaim and are actually making money, getting more rich. So that analogy is trying to show you that if you're setting yourself up in a career where you know that you're just basically going to be leeching off of society, or this career has no meaningful impact on the world, then you're not going to make a lot of money. You're going to screw yourself over. And even if you do make a lot of money, let's say you're like a Wall Street broker and your entire life is devoted to scamming people. Let's say you make $1 million, that money is cursed. That's cursed money. That money was made with bad karma. So literally, you're going to feel bad. You're going to be miserable. That bad karma is going to manifest itself. You're going to argue in your relationships. You're going to maybe start doing drugs. That's why the Buddha, the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, talks about right livelihood. If you want to live the noble life, you have to be making money in a way that is right, a way that assists people instead of steals from them. So the last point about having a meaningful impact on the world is that you have to transform yourself into a leader. You have to be a leader. And the way you be a leader is, at first, you're a follower. You have to be a follower before you can be a leader. So before you can become a leader, you have to read hundreds of books. You have to educate yourself about your specific field and also about life as a whole. You have to understand life as a whole. You can't just understand everything about computer programming, but then understand nothing about philosophy or nothing about Buddhism and spirituality. You have to be a well-rounded individual. So once you devote your time and energy for years and years and years being a follower, following teachers that are smarter than you, researching and devoting yourself to paths that help you with your own personal development, only then can you then take the step to become a leader. The world needs you to become a leader. You need to lead the world towards a higher ideal, towards a better place. It's your responsibility. You can't wait for Elon Musk to invent some way that we can just get to Mars and then everyone will just get on his spaceship and we'll all fly to Mars and we'll leave the Earth to burn and rot. We can't wait for modern science to fix all of society's problems. We can't wait for the politicians to fix the world for us. You have to take responsibility for the state of your own life, first of all, and also for all of society, for the entire planet. So if a politician is elected that is ruining the world and is cutting taxes on big corporations and is making it easier for the rich to steal from the poor, if though that type of politician is being voted into power, that's your fault. Even if you don't support him, even if you wanted to vote for the more conscious politician, it's still your fault if the unconscious politician gets voted into power because you are not having a meaningful enough impact with your work. You are not assisting humanity raise its consciousness. And you should take some responsibility for that. So in order to be a leader, you need to take responsibility and you need to lead by example. You need to go first. So, okay, maybe you want to help people become more conscious. You want to help raise people's consciousness. You want to be more spiritual. You want to make the world more spiritual. Well, in that case, you have to awaken the shit out of yourself. You have to get woke as fuck. And that takes effort. Tons of effort, years of effort. Retreats, meditating every day, self-inquiring, psychedelics, ego backlashes. It's very difficult, extremely difficult work. Reading books. But there's a lot of spiritual leaders out there today who have amazing impacts on the world. But then there's some spiritual leaders who are lazy with their own personal development, who are lazy with their own spirituality. And then those are the people who start cults. Those are the people who start ideologies. Those are the people who trick human beings into following them, but the point is not to help evolve the consciousness of humanity, but the point is to create some type of ideological system that pays them money. There's many examples of those types of humans that exist. So become a leader. Now this video is getting a little bit long. I hope you enjoyed this video. Kudos to you if you stuck through this long, because that means that you are taking your life seriously and you actually care about doing meaningful personal development. Not personal development that just fixes one little aspect of your life, but actually restructures your life and completely changes your trajectory. That's what this channel is devoted to be doing. I have some amazing videos coming up about self-education. I'm going to be speaking about how to actually educate yourself, how to take your education into your own hands, how to become a lifelong learner. And of course, I have the spirituality videos that are coming out as well. How to ground yourself in your own awareness, how to deal with your emotions, how to feel more positive emotions. And of course, those two things, they blend together because you can't educate yourself. You can't develop a robust understanding of reality unless you're invested in doing spiritual work. Because the point of spiritual work is actually to understand reality through your direct experience. And then we're also reading hundreds of books at the same time. And then when these things come together, then what the result is that you are a self-educated human being. You're an independent critical thinker. And you've put yourself in the position to become a thought leader, some type of leader of some sort, or a visionary creator, or a speaker, or something like that. But the purpose of this channel here is to give you the tips, the techniques, the resources, and also the motivation, all for free, so that you can transform your life by becoming a self-educated human being, because you can't rely on university to teach you how reality works. You can't rely on your school, on your parents to teach you how reality works. You can't even rely on me to teach you how reality works. You have to take the work into your own hands. You need to become an independent researcher. You need to build an accurate worldview for yourself. Because if you want any results in your life, the reason why you don't already have them is because you don't know how to do it. The reason why you don't make a lot of money, if you want to do that, is because you don't know how to do it yet. The reason why your relationships suck and you can't get the girlfriend or a boyfriend, the reason why is because you don't know how to do it yet. The reason why you suck at meditating is because you don't know how to do it yet. And the point of self-education is that you're teaching yourself how to do things by reading, by taking courses. And that's what I'm going to be talking about a ton in the future, so stay tuned. I hope you're as excited as I am. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, share it with your friends. I have more videos on the way. Check out this video over here. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but I promise you it is really going to help you on this path of becoming an independent, educated, amazing human being, a leader, becoming a leader, having an impact on the world, a meaningful impact, helping raise your own consciousness and also the consciousness of humanity. So thank you so much for listening. I will see you in the next one.